breaking it all. Diving deep into topics, we'll rise or we'll fall. Every episode's a journey, a ride through the maze. Join us on this path, let's ignite the blaze. So grab your headphones tight, let's go for a ride. With every spin and twist, we'll couldn't run and hide. The Prime Directive, where the laughter's alive. Society's reflections, let's help each other thrive. Politics and culture, oh what a blend. Join on the journey, let's set the trend.
Liesl and I listened to The Bulwark. We've kind of started shying away from TYT. There's been some stuff going on there that's a little bit sus.
Oh, wait. Does this have anything to do with Cenk going out on this, let's
goodness.
reach across the aisle tour?
Listen, I really appreciate that guy in everything that he's done, taking us through the Trump years up to, Biden's inaugural last time. But since then, I've just found myself kind of dropping off. The angry guy shouting at the sky routine is
it's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like the one thing I will say is I get it.
Yeah.
I feel like his heart drives the conversation.
Yeah, sure.
More often than his head, meaning that he gets into. I'm sure you would.
Yeah. And that's a large head,
him.
even larger than this head. Look at the size of this thing. And his is even bigger than mine. My God. His is like a bowling ball. He's sitting on a straw or something. It's crazy.
Here's the thing. He again gets so emotional.
Yeah.
He gets so.
And that would not be a Prime Directive, right? A Prime Directive would be, yes, you've got your heart, but when you're gonna be thinking about how to move forward, let your passions, the way Marcus Aurelius teaches, right? Anger is the enemy. Let your passions drive you deeper within. Don't lash out. Let your passions drive you within, and then you keep asking yourself why you feel this way. And you go down that why hole. Why do I feel this way? And then what's the answer to that? Well, I'm pissed off. Why are you pissed off? Well, because the world's an unfair place. Why is the world an unfair place? You start asking these questions and keep going down, down, down until you can let go. And you realize that you're just a human who feels. And they come back to the wisdom of Buddha and the Stoics and the great thinkers that are way beyond our capabilities, but maybe we can just touch on their genius. And then you're level again. I agree. I think that in the Young Turks' case, many times that those passions lead them into some strange places. Let me put it that way.
Which to be fair, I totally understand.
Yeah.
And I applaud his endeavor.
Yeah.
Of hey, we and it's kind of interesting because Scott Galloway kind of talks about this as well, where it's there's a clear divide here, and divide is not among the general population. The divide is far more based on the socioeconomics.
Yes.
Aspect of life.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'll have Cenk Uygur to this studio right here, and I'll give the guy a coffee and banter with him back and forth, and he's welcome to come in here. And I'd love to go on to his show, or we'd love to go on his show anytime. But that said, there's definitely some differences that have started emerging, even with Anna, some of her takes. I heard her do a take on homelessness recently, and I was like, really? It was a little disheartening because I know she's a good person. She's a fighter. But still, there was just this particular take, and I was just kind of very sad. For me, homelessness has always been kind of one of those issues that I had an irrational fear of because of my background where I grew up. I'm a kid from a trailer park. Eventually, my parents moved out pretty quickly from that trailer park, but because of that, it's just weird when you're born into that lower SES class, not the lowest, but lower working. You never feel safe. You don't have that Maslow's hierarchy taken care of, and when you don't have that, you're literally disabled. It's like you're mentally disabled from even being able to see yourself in a different way. And so you act out of fear. And when people act out of fear, you're not using your frontal lobes. You're making bad decisions. You're just hand to mouth. You're buying your groceries at 7-Eleven. You don't feel the jobs numbers. You don't feel the unemployment rate. You feel that eggs are $4 goddamn for 2 of them. And then that's what you feel. And then if you got kids, you're worried about them, and you see yourself not maybe ever owning up to having a home or something. You can see why there's some rage, white hot rage out there with people that are pissed off. They know that something is wrong in American society. We are not following our Prime Directives. We are not following clear thinking. Our society is not following clear paths of reason and compassion and higher order metaphysical drives and ethical considerations. We are following corruption, corporate profits, and bribery. We are become an oligarchy. We have become, and what's sad about that is we know where this goes. We know the ancient Greek is it Publius? I got to look him up again. There's a great Greek writer, historian, who wrote the cycles of the Greeks. When the Romans came and destroyed his hometown, he became a kind of a hostage at time. But once you hit oligarchy, it's a hop, skip, and a jump to plutocracy. And after plutocracy comes the tyrant. Actually, then comes the worst, which is mob rule. And then after the mob rule comes the tyrant. The hope is, America, that we wake the fuck up and we don't go down this path anymore, and we quit looking to these meaningless, shallow, hollow leaders, which are not leaders, to lead us out of this. We have to band together. It's us. It's this. It's other people. It's other thousands of podcasts, millions of podcasts out there. It's people in other countries. It's people everywhere around us. And it cuts across party line. It cuts across religion. It cuts across race. It's the people. It's the people.
The one thing that I absolutely, positively love is actually being able to learn so much just sitting next to you. So
please.
Just wanted to tell you that it's almost like you should pursue a career in education.
It's almost like I should.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do want to just mention something very quickly. You just kind of described what Cenk is attempting to do in his own way. Now, whether or not we may or may not disagree with him, that's besides the point. But the fact that he is at least willing to
go chat with Charlie Kirk,
correct,
who's a hop, skip, and a jump away from fascism, for God's sake.
Well, here's something interesting, and it's kind of interesting from my perspective. It's about understanding the conduits. Yeah. Understanding the conduits. Yeah. So can I engage with a conduit to gain a broader audience?
Interesting.
And the same thing can be said about, take a look at Kyle Kalinske. Big shout out to Kyle. Yeah. Big fan. Yeah. You and your spouse have done some incredible work.
Right.
Crystal Ball.
Right.
And of course, she has her own show, Breaking Points, which, by the way, I highly recommend. They're basically the epitome of independent media. Yeah. And we're talking about the Kyle Kalinske show, seculartalk. We're talking about Breaking Points, Crystal Ball with Sagar, doing an incredible job. Emily, I always forget her last name. She's on that show as well. Incredible journalist. Ryan Grimm, same thing. Highly recommend reading his articles and his books.
Sure.
He's just an incredible thinker. Great investigative journalist too.
Okay.
Which is hard to come by these days.
Oh yeah, it's dangerous too, because you're up against some very nefarious forces there.
Well, the idea is, of course, in many of these cases, a lot of these individuals, you could say, are speaking truth to power. Yeah. So, that you're going to find opposition, obviously. Right. But what's really interesting is all the things you have touched upon. I'm just sitting here and my heart rate just, shot up. No, and not in the sense of like I'm just excited about the topic and subject matter you are bringing up. Yeah.
That's the way forward.
Yeah,
It's
huge.
huge, and we're not alone, right? Look at all the shows that you just listed right there. All those incredible podcasters, creators. We're all really going towards that same thing. Isn't it incredible? I mean, we really are in our own different way. Some through music, some through political analysis, some through philosophy, some through art, some through. We all seem to be striving towards this truth. Is that the right word? Towards an understanding of the world that is not based in tropes, falsehoods,
and fear.
This goes back to old Plato's cave, right? Where, Plato taught that people were enslaved in a cave and they were just watching shadows on the wall. And most people are afraid to break away from, and there's no chains holding you. It's us. There's the puppeteers showing the shadows on the wall, and most people are just entertained their entire lives just watching the shadows.
Actually, can I just mention something very briefly about that? I remember many years ago, while I had the opportunity to go through my undergrad studies, I wrote a essay about the allegory of the cave.
Oh, you need to bring this. You need to bring this. We'll put it on air.
If I can find it. But it was effectively to tie the modern society based upon the concepts of the allegory, which is we are chaining ourselves to these images, these shadows on a wall.
Yes.
And we are in our own individual cave.
Yes.
And as long as we are entertained, what is that old Latin saying? Panem est sensus.
Man, see, you know your Latin better than me. Way better.
Don't quote me on this.
Vidi vidi vici.
Yeah.
Cogito ergo sum.
E
pluribus unum.
That I know my Latin. I don't know my Latin. I know a few phrases that make me appear to be intelligent. Nothing could be farther from.
Oh, you're very intelligent, my friend. You're graduated and you got that college degree, which is worth it. Don't let any YouTuber tell you college ain't worth it. That's a load of horse shit. Look at the data.
Actually, speaking of that, any level of education that you can get is worth it. And
that's right.
We had this concept.
Yeah.
I remember listening to someone say this to me in the past. I wish that we could have frozen technology right around 2000.
Yeah.
And just kind of like stop there.
Stop for 100 years or so.
We were all integrated through the internet.
Yep.
And just leave the level of technology the way it was to reduce our need for it.
Yeah.
But something that I wanted to just touch upon related to how we approach education. We live in the day and age of technology. The amount of access that you have locally, in considering what is happening as far as literacy is concerned, what is happening around the country as far as level of interconnectivity, and I'm not talking about digital, I'm talking about connectivity with your own community. It is critical to have those conversations, to have a open mind, but also to visit your local library. The resources that exist within a library for free education, access to programs that will teach you new skills is absolutely incredible. It is hard to believe that we are not, as a society, tapping into this incredible resource. Furthermore, I'm going to quote my brother again, who once said to me, education is a question of personal interest, not that of the institution. I feel like we are so often put in a position where we think that education only occurs here. And it's a matter of fact,
or it's a system. It's a system.
It's a system. It's basically there to help you. But education can really happen anywhere, as long as there is that level of interest that exists to pursue that education.
That's right.
And in today's day and age, where we have access to what you can only dream of.
We have more technology at our fingertips right now than anybody in human history. We are more powerful. And then what are the studies showing? We're as lonely as we've ever been.
Oh, don't get me started on the loneliness, epidemic that is. And by the way, it's worldwide.
Yeah,
it is not. Which this is going to have to be an entire show.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about this too.
Because
so as we close the chapter, let us you're here. The Prime Directive's calling, so let's pass a beer. The Prime Directive, where the laughter's alive. Society's reflections, let's help each other thrive.